Okay. Uh, Several months ago, Minnesota Atheists rejoined the Atheist Alliance International, and you can see some of their affiliates worldwide. One of the main reasons we did join is for their atheist support network and their atheist refugee assistance program. And our two speakers today will talk more about that. Our two speakers are Tonoy Emroz, the president of Atheist Alliance International. He's an ex-Muslim turned atheist, former atheist blogger in Bangladesh, escaped to Germany after being attacked in Bangladesh, an outspoken critic of all religions, especially Islam, a world leader in rescuing at-risk atheists from Muslim countries. And we also have Onur Romano, the development director, also an ex-Muslim turned atheist, founded Turkey's first atheist organization. He was persecuted in Turkey and imprisoned on false charges, sought asylum in Canada, where he currently lives. He's dedicated over a decade to advocating atheism, secularism, human rights, particularly in the Middle East. And he directs the atheist refugee assistance initiatives like Atheist Alliance's new safe house in Turkey, and he'll talk more about that. So please welcome Tonoy Emroz and Onur Romano from Atheist Alliance. Okay. And Tonoy, you had some documents you wanted to share? There we
Yes,
go. Excellent.
Honor would be sharing it for me. I mean us.
I'm sharing it now. You can start.
I cannot see the presentation. Honor, thank you.
How do I make this full screen? Full screen.
I believe it is afternoon in Minnesota. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm in Frankfurt, Germany, and for me, it's actually evening. It's 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. And thank you so much for inviting Atheist Alliance International today for us to be able to speak with the Minnesota Atheists. We are so pleased and actually glad that Minnesota Atheist is a member organization of Atheist Alliance International. Last year, we have planned that Minnesota Atheist and Atheist Alliance International could work together in the resettlement of atheist activists to America using the Welcome Corp program. Unfortunately, because of the change of government policy, that would not be possible
It's nice to see this
now, but hopefully one day that would be possible. Oda, are you presenting?
I am on page 2.
Actually, I couldn't see the presentation. That is why.
You may need to slide your screen so you can get to the page where I'm sharing screen.
Okay. All right.
You got it?
Yes. So Atheist Alliance International, as August Berkshire spoken, is an umbrella organization for atheist groups across the globe. Currently, we have 72 member organizations, and most of our member organizations comes from oppressive countries, oppressive regions such as Middle East, Asia, where atheist movement saves life. And in this life-saving effort, Atheist Alliance International's Atheist Support Network plays a very important role. I mean, if you are an atheist, you probably be aware of Mubarak Bala, the Nigerian atheist. He was the founder of Nigerian Humanist Society. Mubarak was charged with blasphemy. Atheist Alliance International have been supporting Mubarak's family since the day he was in prison. Although Humanists International, we are very thankful to them, was in charge of the legal battle for 4 years. Atheist Alliance International kept the family going. We organized a monthly stipend for them. Some significant case we have worked with in the past, if you know Yahya Sharif Aminu, another Nigerian person, he's a singer, Nigerian folk singer. He was sentenced to death for blasphemy. It was Atheist Alliance International's legal team fight the battle, and we were able to annul the death sentence. His sentence was reversed to 24 years prison term, and we are still fighting this battle to get him free. Another significant case in Nigeria again was Omar Farouk Lux. He was 13-year-old when he was sentenced 10 years to prison for blasphemy. It was again Atheist Alliance International's legal team fought the legal battle, and he is now free and living a life of freedom. We wouldn't say it freedom, but at least he is not in jail. In the last 2 months, we rescued a film director, award-winning film director, a publisher from Bangladesh, where Islamist has taken power. And I would like to talk about Bangladesh at some point. Just not right now. We are talking about Atheist Alliance International now. Other significant work Atheist Alliance doing, except for actually, if you could show on the page 3 and page 5 and 6. Page 5 and 6. There is 2 of our rescue cases. One is Shahadat Russell. He is the film director, as I mentioned, and award-winning human rights activist as well. And next page, it is Ahmed Arif. Ahmed Arif is a Yemeni atheist activist. He is actually an atheist content creator. His videos are outstanding, and he was in trouble because of his contents. And Atheist Alliance International is glad that we could help him. Right now, he is in Netherlands. For Shahadat Russell, we are trying a safe relocation. We moved him to a safe country. Unfortunately, in this country, you can be safe, but you cannot have all the rights such as work permission or a pathway to citizenship or a permanent residency. Another major work we do is support for African schools. Or can we go to the humanist school? Humanitarian work in Africa?
You are there.
In Uganda, we support 4 schools. And in these 4 schools, there are 1,400 children. And Atheist Alliance International is the lifeline for them. Our other initiatives involve working for the empowerment of women in Africa. We're not going to talk about the Arab program. We have an atheist census website. We are still working on the website, but this has been launched. Our purpose, we launched it to see if we could help the academic work on atheism. Also, this is a place where atheists from regions where they cannot even say I'm an atheist can at least have some breathing space and can say proudly that I'm an atheist. Atheist Alliance International grants program. Atheist Alliance International gives grants for atheist societies across the globe, especially in countries such as Asian countries where small groups, they're doing great work, but they do not have finance to have a website. And in this world, a website is very important. Atheist Alliance International have a grant for those societies to have their website. Plus, we have support available for atheist conferences. We just next month we'll be sponsoring a conference in Poland that is by Kazimierza Foundation. It is one of the most significant atheist group in Europe. Last year, we supported a conference in Canada and United States. It's a Baja conference. Ona, if you could go to the advocacy.
Here we are.
So this is one of probably our most significant cause for existing. Yet Atheist Alliance International is not doing enough. I would be very truthful to you guys, and the reason because is for advocacy, the type of finance we need. We do not have that type of finance, especially if we want to send someone to Switzerland or to New York in the UN meetings. It costs significant amount of funding, and this is a fund Atheist Alliance International cannot provide because of our financial situation. Yet every year we are trying to make improvement. Last year we made a presentation about it was our demand about equal inheritance of right of women, especially in the Islamic countries where women get very significant less than their male counterparts when it comes to inheritance. Also, Atheist Alliance International has a consultative status, a special consultative status at the United Nations. We attend United Nations meetings. At least our presence there, online presence, that the atheist group is there, makes a difference. Also, this must be noted that Atheist Alliance International is a group. There are Minnesota atheists must understand it because it is in their DNA as well that we are atheists, but there's some type of taboo even in the first world that identifying ourselves as atheist to some is not right. I mean, we are using rationalist, we are using this and that. What's wrong calling yourself an atheist? Because that is the core. That's where it begins. The first we become atheist, then we subscribe to other philosophies. And Atheist Alliance International is unique here. Atheist Alliance International at a global level identifying itself as atheist. That was about Atheist Alliance International, and since it's American crowd, I would like to speak to you about a different matter, which is important to me. And Honor, if you stop presenting, I would be.
I did.
I would like to present something.
Is somebody speaking? They're
Yes,
on
it's me.
mute.
That's me. So if I tell anyone that 103 Hindu police people were discharged from police force just because of their religion, They are a different religion from the majority Islamic religion. Or if I say 100 civil servants were dismissed without due process just because of their religion, because they do not belong to the majority religions. Or if I say more than 2,000 acts of vandalism or terrorism happen to religious minorities. If I say 1,400 museums and murals and sculptures were vandalized, were tarnished. If I say museums are torched, or 2,000 attacks on religious minorities happened in 6-7 months. And then if I ask, what do you think the name of the country? If I ask this question, you would be saying that's Afghanistan or Syria. Unfortunately, it's happening in my country, Bangladesh. But in Bangladesh, in 1971, we are the only country in the world. We waged a war based on secularism, that we didn't want a country that is religious. We wanted a secular country. 3 million of our people sacrificed their life. 1 year ago, we were 24th biggest economy in the world as per PPP. We're 35th biggest economy in the world because of the size of our economy. Today, this is what's happening in our country. I believe actually in this crowd, everyone is like me. We are left wing. Values, secularism matters to us. And we actually vote for left wing as well. What I'm presenting, Ola, can you see my presentation here as well?
Yes.
So I'm presenting a chart to you guys. This is the donation United States gave to Bangladesh. You can see from 2021 to 2024 by US aid. I know that you guys were shocked what Donald Trump talking about US aid. He said 2 people organization in Bangladesh received 29 million US dollars. And in this chart, you can see, okay, how the US aid is working in Bangladesh. In 2023, 2024, how it increased. And I'm urging you people to raise your voice to your government that this is what happened to us by the previous administration of the United States. We deserve to live in a secular country. We do not want our country to become Afghanistan or Syria. Every day now in my country, every day in Bangladesh, 6 children are raped. We know who does that. We know who raped children. The terrorists, the religious terrorists. They think, okay, for them, okay, if a girl is over 6-year-old, they can be married. If a girl is over 9-year-old, then they can be, they become women. Every day now, okay, we are a beacon of hope in the Islamic world. We are a democracy. Just what happened today's world, okay, once upon a time there was colonialism, that we were colonies. Now, instead of colony, there's a new term invented, academic term. And that term is geopolitics. In the name of geopolitics, it is becoming okay for powerful countries to do such things to countries like ours. We are poor, but we are people. We do not deserve to be treated like this by rich and powerfuls. We made such, in the last 15, 20 years, okay, people were talking that okay, Bangladesh was the emerging tiger of Asia. In 2008, our national per capita income was $500 US. In just 15 years, we become $2,800 US per capita income. Everything gone. Our women were free. Our women could go to work. Like 60-70% of our women were in the workforce. Every outfit you guys are wearing, okay, probably a significant amount, not just significant because we are number 2 in the world in garment production. So at least, half of it made in Bangladesh, made by our women. Now our women cannot walk on the street. If they go to market, that those Islamists will come and terrorize them. I'm here to urge you, I'm asking you that please raise your voice against what the government of the United States does to us. I'm sorry if I hurt you, but our people are dying. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me today.
Tonoy, if you can stop sharing screen.
All right, I had it on mute, so they didn't hear us clapping. Let's clap again.
Thank you.
Am I still presenting, Owner?
Yes,
Yes.
you are still sharing screen.
I'm trying to figure out how to stop it. If it doesn't show anything, that's...
There should be a bar that has a little red button that says stop sharing.
That's the problem. It's not
Perhaps
showing.
Chris
Yeah,
can.
I found it. Yeah, stop
Oh.
sharing.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Would you like questions or are we gonna have a different speaker?
Yeah, was Arno going to talk about the safe house?
Yes. Just a second, please. Almost there. All right.
No background?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes. We can
All
hear you.
right. Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Emir Onur Romano Çilek. I would like to start with one of our traditions in Canada with an acknowledgement where I acknowledge and respect the Lekwenen peoples known as the Sanghees and Esquimalt nations on whose traditional territory I live. I am currently at Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, which hopefully never become your 51st state. So let me first tell you a little bit about my journey. And then I will talk about the Atheist Refugee Assistance Program. In 2011, I established an underground political organization in Turkey where we were successfully able to gather secularists, skeptics, and atheist, agnostic, humanist politicians from various governmental organizations and political parties. And that was followed the next year by establishing the first hard copy atheist magazine of Middle East, called the Atheist Magazine. And then I established the first ever atheist organization of the legally recognized atheist organization of the Republic of Turkey. And then the first ever atheist organization of Republic of Georgia. And now I'm working on doing the same in the republics of Azerbaijan and Cyprus. I was honored to serve as president of AAI in 2016-17. And since 2018, I've been serving as the Human Rights Chair of Center for Inquiry Canada. Currently, I'm directing 3 atheist refugee assistance programs. The first one is the Assistance for Apostates, under Center for Inquiry Canada. The other one is the Secular Rescue under Center for Inquiry United States. And for last, we have the Atheist Refugee Assistance Program, we call ARAP for short, which is in Republic of Turkey. So the Atheist Refugee Assistance Program, ARAP, is designed in a way where it does not really provide services to the Turkish atheists, but rather focuses on non-Turkish asylum seekers and atheists that are currently stuck in Turkey who had to flee their homes due to religious persecution. Turkey shelters the greatest number of refugees on our planet, and a significant number of these are non-believers fleeing persecution, running from their homes. And in Turkey, there is a big discrimination in the society and also in governmental organizations, in agencies and offices, immigration offices, against non-believers. What we do in this program is we provide, first I will tell you how we were inspired. We were inspired to start this program as the Association of Atheism Turkey, which is a small atheist organization with around 500 members. And the Atheist Support Network of AAI and the Secular Rescue Program of CFI inspired our organization to do something in Turkey where we have the greatest number of refugees in the planet. And we established our program in 2020. So far, we have catered to the needs of 213 atheist refugee families under this program. We provide 5 basic services. Now we are opening our 6th service, but the first one is the short and long-term accommodation, where we help asylum seekers and refugees to find suitable housing or roommates in Turkey. We assist them with sharing ads on local and online platforms, translating necessary documents, providing guidance, and even setting up the interviews with the landlords. The second service we provide is job placement, where we assist atheist asylum seekers by finding employment opportunities in Turkey, translating their resumes into Turkish, providing them templates for job applications, and offering guidance throughout the complete interview process. And another service we give is legal aid, where we are, accepting applications from atheist asylum seekers who need legal support and cannot afford. So after we verify the authenticity of the applications, which is the biggest part of our job, because I should add that almost 60-70% of the applications we receive are either fraudulent or fake. But that's a topic for another talk. So after the verification, we provide assistance through pro bono lawyers, immigration lawyers. The fourth service we provide is to provide official letters of recommendation, letters of support, letters of verification to the Turkish Immigration Division or UNHCR on behalf of asylum seekers to support their claims. And to do that, we usually need additional verification from secondary sources. So from trusted sources in the applicant's home countries, so we can back their claims in the court of law. And our last service is the guidance services, which is one of the most popular services we provide. We do not provide direct financial help. We don't give money to asylum seekers, but we give them financial guidance, educational guidance, mental health guidance through professionals. So these are some of the guidance services we provide. And our newest service, which is being launched on April 1st, is the Atheist Refugee Assistance Program Safe House in Turkey. Now I will share screen so you can have an idea about the Safe House. Here we go. Please let me know if you cannot see. So I'm sorry, we are gonna move in and do all the decorating and everything after April 1st, but these are just some of the photos we were able to take when we were viewing the place. So it is our safe house is aiming to provide accommodation for refugees who are in Turkey and cannot afford to have a roommate or to rent an apartment. It is a 4-bedroom safe house designed in a way where it can accommodate up to 10 refugees. For starters, we decided that it will be the best course of action if we start small and make this an all-woman safe house. So currently it is open to female asylum seekers and families with children, and it is a capacity of 10. This was made possible by the generous contributions of Batman Holdings in United States, which is a company owned by one of the former presidents of American Atheists. And due to their generous contribution, we are able to launch our safe house in Turkey. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer. Thank you for your time.
We were muted, so go ahead.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a question. If you're assisting them as refugees in Turkey, are you also finding a way to get them lessons in speaking Turkish, which would both aid in their employment and their acclimatization to that society?
Thank you very much. A great question, which was something I missed in my presentation. Yes, actually, under our guidance services, another thing we do is we conduct around 5 to 10 workshops every year in different cities of Turkey that's specifically designed for our asylum seekers under Arab program. Sometimes these workshops are for defense workshops. martial arts and, to show them show the vulnerable women how to, defend themselves. But most of our workshops, around 80% of our workshops are language workshops where we teach them Turkish language, or where we help them, where we prepare them for their job interviews and their legal rights.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have questions in the audience here. All right, August.
So the refugees in Turkey, they don't all stay in Turkey. Do you try to move them on to other countries?
Can you please repeat the question? I couldn't hear the second part of the question.
All the refugees don't all stay in Turkey. Do you try to move some of them on to other countries? And what countries have taken in some and might take some in the future?
Yes, we do not provide third country relocation and third country resettlement services, because that's kind of above our pay grade. We totally encourage, assist, and help them to apply to those through either applying directly to humanitarian visas of certain countries, or applying to UNHCR for a third country relocation. However, we do not give such service because we cannot grant them visas. And to be frank, most of our refugees, after spending a couple years or a few years in Turkey, they tend to find their own resources and take risks, and then cross the border and go to West with their own means, mostly through illegal means, that is. But we just simply cannot do anything in that regard, because we cannot provide that service in our current logistics. Thank you.
All right, we have another question.
Some of these countries they're leaving from, to be an atheist is life-threatening. How do you identify and find the people that become part of the Atheist Alliance program?
The question was that some of the countries that people are coming from, that is like really, how do you identify the atheists? Because it's really hostile in some of these countries to even be out as an atheist or to get the references that you need.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Tonoy, go ahead.
First of all, is that at the Atheist Alliance International, we have volunteers across the world. We know people across the world. And when someone comes from that country, we work with our volunteers. And if someone is genuinely persecuted in those countries where atheist parties are persecuted, atheist community are very well connected with each other in most cases. Also, because we work with these cases so much, if we read an email, we would know who is at risk. Consistency in the writing, that's the first hunch, because we receive so many emails, so many calls for help. We couldn't help everyone. We couldn't even respond to everyone. So when we read an email, we would we'll know that, okay, there is some genuine aspect in this case. After that, we will be working with our volunteers in those countries. And number three is that we will ask them that we cannot help every atheist, because atheism is fastest growing in the world. especially in those oppressive regimes as well. So we asked them to show us their work in favor of secularism, their social media accounts, their writings, their video contents. At Atheist Alliance International, we mostly work with cases that are accused of blasphemy. As you know, in 13 countries in the world right now, atheism is punishable by death. And if someone is accused of blasphemy, they would be presenting us with those legal papers. So the chances of we are wrong, that doesn't really happen. It's because of our limited resources. We have to be very careful. Also, you know that we have a team where Ona Romano and I, we work with Center for Inquiry. We work with other atheist organizations supporting these causes. We share information with each other to be sure.
I would like to answer the same question if time allows.
Yeah, go ahead.
To complete what Tonoy said, the verification process is one of the hardest parts of this job. And so different atheists or different refugee assistance programs have different thresholds. Some of the programs, like Atheist Support Network and Secular Rescue, you are required to be an atheist activist. So you cannot be a closet atheist. You need to be, have some blasphemy or apostasy charges. So you need to have an impact. But some of these programs, like Assistance for Apostates or the Atheist Refugee Assistance Program in Turkey, their threshold is lower because you only need to be an atheist. You don't need to be a hardcore activist per se. So we have a quite complex verification process. Of course, I'm not gonna share and disclose each steps of that process, but if there is no evidence at all, we basically look at the narrative we were provided with, and then our case manager interviews the refugee for a second time on a live interview, and then takes notes of the narrative once again, and then we kind of compare the two narratives which were provided within the same week, and we try to see if there is any gaps, if there is any any things that doesn't seem right, any contradictions. But most of the time we rely on supporting evidences and references. Social media, we do have investigation on individual social media accounts, which can sometimes go as far as us demanding their passwords so we can have a look from inside. And also, as Tonoy mentioned, since we have been doing this over a decade, we have a fairly complex network of organizations and as people who are invested in this line of work. So we often need to seek confirmation or verification from secondary sources within one's home country. And our acceptance rate in Arab is around 19% last year in 2024, which means over 80% of the applications didn't make it to the program. We were not qualified. So how we detect in Turkey, we are proud that we were able to think out of the box, and we came up with an unorthodox solution to the problem. We do have two case managers in Turkey, and we've started to employ case managers who are also Turkish immigration officers, but secular people, skeptic people. So they can also look in the system government database, and they can tell us if that specific individual registered themselves as a Muslim or as a non-believer when they were applying for asylum to Turkey. If an asylum seeker has applied to us and claiming that they're atheist, but 3 months ago they applied to the immigration claiming that they are Muslim, we find that out, and therefore that's a very shortcut, to effective shortcut to filter the genuine cases. Thank you very much.
Do we have any other questions for either of our speakers? We got one over here.
So my question is, do you guys collaborate with government agencies to help people in the asylum or refugee immigration process?
Do you collaborate with governments in your process?
I will answer for Turkey. No, in Turkey, we do collaborate with other governments. Sometimes we correspond with United States State Department to verify if some document is genuine, or some other consulate officers. But we try not to collaborate, not to exchange any information, especially with the Turkish government. That's why we have moved our atheist refugee assistance Turkey operations and finances and all the administration to our proxy nonprofit organization in Canada, so that the Turkish government does not have any authority over it. The reason we chose to do this is because it is known, as a Turkish person, I can attest that Turkish government is hand in hand with Muslim Brotherhood and many terrorist organizations, supporting, sheltering, and sharing intelligence. And as you can understand, most of our cases are running away from countries, running from persecution from those countries, and the intelligence agencies which the Turkish government collaborates and shares information with. Because of that, sharing any data with the Turkish government is our red line as far as Atheist Refugee Assistance Program Turkey goes. Thank you.
For Atheist Alliance International, we do a lot of legal cases. We have many courtroom battles, as I mentioned before, 2 of them. But it happens in many other countries, not only Nigeria, Niger, in Bangladesh, in India. So in that case, yes, we have some connection with we work with the government to some extent, especially when we have a legal battle. Secondly, when an atheist arrives in a safe country, and when they go through their refugee application asylum process, we communicate with the government through support letter, or sometimes more than that, to ensure this person, if he is persecuted for being an atheist, his safety is granted. Also, we work with bigger non-government organizations, such as Freedom House, Prison of Conscience. In Germany, Elizabeth Even initiative to ensure this atheist can have safety. Also, what we do when atheist is persecuted or listed for blasphemy, we inform the United Nations Human Rights Council about this persecution, so their name could be listed on the list.
I was wondering if you've had any chance to have any interaction with the U.S. government on these matters? And if there's been any change in United States policy that you've noticed over the last couple of months?
The biggest change happened in United States policy was we were expecting a huge amount from the refugee resettlement program of United States government that was launched by the previous administration. But since it is now annulled, this program is no longer exist because of the new administration's policy. In that case, we do not have that type of connection with the U.S. government anymore. But we do write to United States government, the Religious Freedom Department, when a person become persecuted because of atheism. We do communicate with them.
I would like to answer the same question too, to add on what Tonoy said, to give some specific examples of the changes in United States administration caused by the United States administration is that, as you may followed it from the news, the allies of United States military, or called as friends of United States military in Afghanistan, the guides, the translators, the locals that helped U.S. military during the 10 plus years of presence in Afghanistan. Those were abundant, and I think there is even more happening now, such as placing a travel ban from those countries to individuals from those countries. So yeah, another thing is that there was a program called Welcome Corps by United States, where asylum seekers can apply for a form of humanitarian visa per se, so they can make it to United States. So this is a very slow procedure, sometimes takes 3 to 6 years, and hundreds of cases who were approved previously. And these are only the atheist cases. Probably, altogether it's tens of thousands. They were approved to gain access to be relocated to United States to Welcome Corps, and that program was canceled when Donald Trump took office. So also these people who were legally accepted to United States have been abandoned, just like the allies of United States in Afghanistan and other countries. Thank you very much.
Any further questions? Oh, with that, we can another round of applause to thank our speakers.
I would like to back it up here.
Yes, you have any final words you want to say?
Yes,
Yeah.
as you know, that we are a publicly funded NGO listed in United States and California, Scotts Valley. And like all other atheist organizations, we are always suffering for funds. Although we have all these great programs, having 1,400 children in Africa, providing them education, atheist support network supporting the atheist at risk. And I would urge you to join Atheist Alliance International as supporters. You can join Atheist Alliance International as little as $15 a year. And you can also be generous. That would be a great help for all our programs. If you guys become a member of Atheist Alliance International, if you go to Atheist Alliance International's website, it's get involved, and there you can find the link to become a supporter. Because of the California law, the members are only organizations like Minnesota Atheist, and the individual supporters, we call them supporters. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank all participants of today, and thank you very much for your questions and for your time.
Thank you.